The money is officially drying up for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as more and more news of the dissolution.
People close to Harry and Meghan have confirmed what many have long feared. The dream is over. Not just the dream of a royal return, not just the marriage, not just the high-profile media deals with Netflix and Spotify, nor the donor base of the Arch OAL Foundation. All of it has collapsed. It's gone. What was once a carefully constructed empire, one that claimed independence from the British monarchy, now sits on shaky ground, teetering on the edge of both public scrutiny and financial ruin. And the burning question that has kept royal watchers, American tabloids, and constitutional scholars in the UK awake at night is this: what comes next for Harry and Meghan now that the foundation of their world has crumbled? Montecito was never just a zip code. It was a symbol, a brand in its own right. Every photo shoot, every media appearance, every staged interview reinforced an image of a thriving family living freely outside the palace walls. Losing Montecito isn't merely losing a home, it is losing the very backdrop of their story. If Montecito falls, so too does the narrative that was meticulously crafted over the last 6 years. And while it might be tempting to dismiss this as gossip, the evidence tells a far more sobering story. This is a financial, legal, and personal unraveling that has been building momentum since February 2026, moving faster than most analysts ever predicted. To understand the magnitude of this crisis, we must start with the finances. According to documents obtained by the Daily Ledger, the property taxes on the Montecito estate for 2026 remain unpaid, exceeding $134,000. Think about that for a moment. A property intended to represent complete financial independence from the British monarchy has instead become a financial burden. The couple, who once declared they would forge their own path and build a media empire capable of funding their freedom, are now struggling to maintain the very home meant to symbolize that independence. And the financial complications don't stop there. The Netflix deal, originally reported to be worth around $100 million, was intended to establish the Sussexes as global content creators. Yet sources indicate the streaming giant is now exploring an early exit clause, one that carries potential penalties estimated at $124 million. That is not a misprint. $124 million for a content partnership that failed to deliver the cultural impact either side had banked on. When your primary income stream begins to vanish while property taxes pile up, the question becomes unavoidable. What do you do with a $14 million mansion that costs a fortune just to maintain? Selling it seems logical, but here the situation becomes more complicated. Insiders with direct knowledge of Harry's finances reveal that he quietly reached out to Hollywood mogul Tyler Perry, the same Tyler Perry who previously lent the couple his Beverly Hills mansion when they first fled the UK and also provided emergency bridge financing. Emergency bridge financing is not the language of a thriving media empire. It is the language of someone who has exhausted all other options. And Perry reportedly said no. According to a source close to Perry, the refusal was not personal. It was reputational. Nobody, not even old allies, wants to financially back a man who has been formally locked out by his birth family, stripped of royal protections, and whose public approval in both the UK and the United States has plummeted. Adding to the complexity, Meghan's personal trust fund was restructured last year, leaving Harry with no access. The palace lifeline is gone. The American corporate lifeline is gone. Even the private friendship lifeline, once a potential safety net, has been declined. According to one former Sussex business consultant, there is simply no plan B. So, what happens when the mansion becomes a liability, income streams dry up, and legal pressures begin to mount from across the Atlantic? The answer is that the couple begins to pack up what remains of their royal order, a move that changed everything. To fully understand the Montecito exit, one must go back to February 17th, 2026. That day did not just alter Harry and Meghan's personal lives, it reshaped the constitutional architecture of the British monarchy itself. Beneath the vaulted ceiling of St George's Hall at Windsor Castle, Prince William, acting as sovereign during King Charles's ongoing absence due to health concerns, issued what historians are calling the most definitive statement of royal authority since Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee address. He called it Royal Order No. 17, a formal, legal, and institutional declaration that Prince Harry would never return to any official royal role. Drafted under the guidance of Princess Anne, Lord Alastair Pembroke, and Duchess Sophie, the order reaffirmed the indefinite suspension of all titles, privileges, heraldry, and royal rights previously held by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Any assets or inheritance within the Crown estate linked to the Sussex branch were effectively frozen. William's language was precise, deliberate, and unmistakable. He invoked precedent from King Charles's earlier decision to strip Prince Andrew of all royal titles in October 2025. Andrew, a direct son of the late Queen, had been evicted from Royal Lodge, a property he had held under a 75-year lease since 2003, and relocated to Marsh Farm, a dilapidated cottage on the edge of the Sandringham estate with no staff quarters, no private chapel, and no active royal protection. William made the comparison explicit. If the monarchy could find the strength to remove Andrew for the survival of the crown, then it must also act decisively to protect the institution from further erosion, even if that meant drawing hard lines within one's own family. Let that sink in. For the first time publicly, a prince told the world and his brother that royal blood is no shield. Not in this monarchy, not under his watch. Soon after, a classified memorandum was delivered to the Ministry of Justice, invoking Royal Separation Protocol 14-7, originally drafted during the abdication crisis of Edward VIII. The public first learned of this decree through a single sentence published by the Royal Gazette. The Duke of Sussex will no longer be accorded sovereign privileges, travel protections, or institutional representation within the United Kingdom. Effective immediately. Polls taken the next morning showed that 68% of British citizens supported the decision, while William's approval rating as the future king surged to 84%. The Morning Times editorial summed it up in just 4 words: he chose the crown. Meanwhile, in Montecito, Harry sat reading the decree on an iPad while his children slept, and Meghan, in another room, discussed legal ramifications with her counsel via video call. The final line of the letter was clear. No return would be considered until the children's full legal identities were submitted, verified, and recognised by the Crown. This was not merely a rejection, it was a challenge. Harry faced the intertwined crises of divorce, a legal dossier, and questions surrounding the children, all unfolding simultaneously. In January 2026, Harry and Meghan finalised a confidential divorce, opening a Pandora's box of potential custody disputes, image rights battles, and reputation management crises that neither the palace nor outside advisors were fully prepared to handle. This was a multi-layered collapse: personal, financial, legal, and public. On February 10th, 2026, Lady Louise Windsor, 22, working closely with royal legal officers, submitted a 117-page confidential document to the Royal Family Tribunal. According to Lord Pembroke, the report fundamentally changed the stakes. What had previously been treated as a personal family dispute was now a matter of succession, legitimacy, and precedent. The dossier outlined irregularities in Archie and Lily's birth records across multiple jurisdictions, commercial agreements monetizing their images, and, most explosively, a media licensing deal approved by Meghan for a children's series called Sussex Kitchen, featuring her children as recurring fictional characters. This was not a book, not a documentary, but a branded entertainment series leveraging their children's likenesses. The Legal and Privy Council response was immediate. This was no longer just a family matter. It had become institutional. The Royal Family Tribunal, described by Lord Pembroke as the monarchy's first sovereign family court, made sweeping rulings. Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie were named royal matrons, guardians, and custodians of Archie and Lily. William emphasised publicly that the children's future would not be bartered in public opinion or auctioned through entertainment platforms. Finally, the most chilling mechanism was invoked, the Lineage Safeguard Clause. a rarely used statute dating back to the early 20th century, quietly revised after the Duke of Windsor's abdication and Lord Mountbatten's assassination. It ensured the Crown's direct oversight over succession and identity verification for the next generation. And so, the Montecito chapter closes, but not quietly. The saga reflects a collision of ambition, family loyalty, institutional authority, and public scrutiny, a cascade that will likely shape the British monarchy's history and the Sussex legacy for decades. The world is left to watch, analyse, and debate, but the narrative is clear. The era of Harry and Meghan's independent empire has ended, and the consequences, financial, personal, and constitutional, will echo far beyond the Californian coastline. At the centre of this entire storm sits one powerful rule, a clause that hands the reigning monarch, or acting sovereign, the authority to block royal passage and recognition from descendants who carry the name, but are judged to lack loyalty to the crown. It is not symbolic. It is not ceremonial. It is enforceable power. Once Prince William triggered it, and King Charles formally approved it, the consequences became immediate and very real. Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor were officially restricted from accessing royal trusts, inheritance pathways, property considerations, and ceremonial roles until they turned 21 years old. And even at that age, nothing automatically returns. They would face a full ethics and identity audit before the Crown Court. In direct terms, their royal identity has been paused, not erased, not deleted, but suspended without a timeline for restoration. When news of the ruling broke, the emotional response that followed became just as explosive as the decision itself. Footage reportedly leaked showing Meghan pacing the veranda of the Montecito estate in workout clothes, phone pressed tight against her ear, clearly agitated. The words she allegedly shouted into that phone became the headline heard around the world. "They can't freeze my children out. I built their global identity. I gave them the brand." And those 5 words, "I gave them the brand," ignited a wildfire of reaction online. Push constitutional law aside for a moment. Set aside the Royal Tribunal, the Privy Council, and the Lineage Safeguard Clause. Those 5 words reshaped the narrative instantly. Critics claimed it revealed a mindset that framed the children as extensions of a commercial empire. Supporters insisted she was defending their legacy. But no matter which side you stood on, the backlash was immediate and fierce. Hashtags like Protect the Line, No More Royal Leaks, and Custody Not Currency exploded across social media within hours. Comment sections flooded, debate panels filled. A cutting editorial in The Spectator carried the headline, "The Grandmother Brand, Meghan's monetization of royal bloodline collapses in real time." The tone across media platforms was intense. Some argued the Crown had finally drawn a boundary. Others claimed it was an overreach. Either way, the temperature rose fast. Meghan's legal team escalated quickly. Formal objections were filed challenging the tribunal's authority over minors residing in California. The argument was clear. Jurisdiction should not stretch across borders based solely on heritage. They accused the Crown of historical overreach and emotional coercion. Behind the scenes, reports surfaced that they were exploring international legal pathways through The Hague, attempting to bypass UK rulings altogether. It signalled that this dispute was entering a new legal phase. Lord Pembroke's response, however, was steady and sharp. He acknowledged that the children physically reside in the United States, but emphasised that their birth titles, institutional privileges, and public positioning were deeply intertwined with the British Crown. That connection created legal standing, and legal standing, once granted, can be reviewed and withdrawn. His message translated clearly. You cannot claim royal privilege when it benefits you and switch to American civil independence when it does not. The system does not operate on convenience. Meanwhile, those close to Harry described him as emotionally drained. Insiders reported he had little appetite and appeared increasingly withdrawn. Some even claimed he spent nights sleeping in his car rather than inside the Montecito residence. After reading William's final declaration, one source said he described it as the end of a hallucination. That phrase alone fueled even more speculation about his state of mind. Before the ruling became public, Harry and William reportedly shared one final phone call. According to a senior aide, it was short and brutally honest. Harry asked, "So that's it? You're just cutting me off forever?" William answered, "No, I'm letting you go because you refuse to let go of what broke us." No yelling, no dramatic finale, just silence at the end of the call. Then came the unexpected decision that stunned observers. Harry reportedly signed a non-objection agreement, but attached one critical condition. Archie and Lilibet would not be moved to palace grounds. Instead, they would be placed at a neutral estate in Kent, managed by the Crown Guardianship Office. The property, once used by Princess Margaret, would be supervised by non-aristocratic caretakers trained in trauma-informed child development. It was framed as structured oversight without direct immersion into palace life, a compromise that satisfied protocol without intensifying optics. Sources claim Meghan has not forgiven him for agreeing to that condition. In a reported voice message to a confidant, she allegedly said, "He doesn't understand empire. He thinks love can undo protocol." That line alone added another layer to the narrative. 2 days after the tribunal's decision, royal aides reportedly found an unsigned letter addressed simply, "To my children." The handwriting matched Harry's. The ink appeared slightly smeared, as if written under emotional strain. The letter read, "I loved you before titles. I love you now without them. One day you'll understand why I stepped back, but I hope you'll forgive me." It was never signed. It was never delivered. There is something deeply heavy about a father writing words he cannot send. A man who stepped away from one of the most powerful institutions on earth, believing he was choosing freedom, now stands distanced from both the institution and his immediate household. The cost of independence can be more complicated than expected. Public opinion remains split right down the middle. Some feel compassion for Harry, seeing someone overwhelmed by history, pressure, and personal conflict. Others argue that every public interview, every memoir page, every headline was part of a path that led here. Accountability, they say, was always coming. Now step back and look at the broader landscape. The Sussex brand itself. The Archewell Foundation reportedly experienced a significant drop in donor engagement after the title suspension. Corporate partners who once proudly aligned with the Sussex name began stepping back quietly. No loud announcements, just empty calendars where meetings once existed. Silence can speak loudly. Netflix remains a question mark. Rumours of an early exit clause continue circulating. The content slate meant to establish Harry and Meghan as major cultural voices did not generate the impact originally projected. Reports referenced internal concerns about sensitive material being included in projects. Whether that becomes legally relevant remains to be seen, but industry observers are watching closely. Spotify ended its partnership years ago. The Archetypes podcast launched strong but concluded after one season. The speaking circuit, once considered a reliable safety net for high-profile figures, appears less welcoming. When Tyler Perry reportedly declined further financial involvement, insiders in entertainment took notice. Booking agents pay attention to momentum, and momentum matters. Now there are reports that Meghan is negotiating a tell-all memoir titled "The Crown Kept My Children." That title alone carries weight. Legal analysts warn that publishing such a book could risk breaching non-disparagement clauses signed during the couple's 2020 departure negotiations. Royal legal teams are said to be reviewing whether such a publication would trigger contractual consequences. One advisor privately labelled it contractual self-destruction. Strong words. Palace advisors, however, seem composed. Their approach, sometimes described as the Windsor Doctrine, relies on silence as strategic strength. They believe public reactions only magnify controversy. More importantly, some legal observers suggest that publishing detailed allegations during an ongoing dispute may create documented statements usable in court. In legal battles involving institutional authority and child welfare considerations, voluntarily producing material can carry significant risk. Then came a symbolic shift that caught many by surprise. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, once viewed as informally sympathetic to the Sussexes, publicly endorsed William's ruling. In a letter released through the Royal Legal Archive, she wrote, "I once thought silence protected the Crown, but I have learned it protects abusers more. In this clarity, I support your ruling. Children are not bargaining chips, not even royal ones. That endorsement signaled that alliances had shifted in a visible way. When someone once perceived as neutral takes a clear stance, it confirms the ground has moved. Lines have been redrawn, and the balance of this entire saga feels different now. The real issue is not Montecito itself. It is what happens after Montecito disappears from the picture. So let's close the loop on this mansion, this exit, and the question people keep asking in every comment section. Where do Harry and Meghan actually go from here? Based on everything currently unfolding, the honest answer feels uncomfortable. The Montecito estate appears financially unsustainable, overdue property taxes, income streams that are no longer as steady as they once were, heavy legal expenses from a cross-Atlantic custody fight against an institution that has centuries of resources behind it. When you line those realities up side by side, they all point in the same direction. The house likely has to go. But understand this clearly. Selling the Montecito mansion would not just be about covering bills. It would symbolize the collapse of an entire narrative. That property was more than square footage and landscaping. It was branding. It was image. Every Netflix filming window framed against California light. Every casual, paparazzi-adjacent walk. Every at-home interview carefully staged to reflect independence and control. That house told the world a story. Modern royals thriving outside the palace system. It was proof of concept. And once that proof disappears, the story they built around it weakens dramatically. Because what happens when the house is gone? What happens after royal bridges are burned, American corporate partners drift away, the marriage ends, and custody oversight shifts under Crown guardianship orders? That next step is not glamorous. It is not cinematic. It is uncertain. Canada has been mentioned before. Harry has spoken positively about Canada in the past, and the Commonwealth link offers diplomatic softness. But let's be honest, Meghan's career energy has always leaned toward Hollywood. Vancouver may be stunning, but it is not Los Angeles. It does not carry the same influence, the same entertainment infrastructure. Europe, highly unlikely given revoked sovereign privileges and restricted travel protections across UK territories. Remaining in California but at a reduced level appears to be the most probable short-term outcome. A smaller property, a lower public profile, a long legal process grinding forward, draining resources year after year. And this is where the tone shifts completely. Because this is not just another celebrity narrative about fame fading and money tightening. This is about children. Real children. Archie and Lilibet did not choose any of this. They did not choose a royal birth. They did not choose a transatlantic relocation. They did not choose streaming cameras or tribunal rulings or viral hashtags. Yet they are at the center of it all. The Royal Custodial Tribunal ruling placed them under Crown guardianship oversight. The official family website was quietly updated. Where their names once appeared beneath King Charles, William, Catherine, George, Charlotte, and Louis, there is now absence. In its place, a small digital note reads, "Status updated in accordance with Royal Custodial Tribunal ruling 2026. No emotional statement, no dramatic announcement, just a date, clinical, final." If you are watching this and thinking this feels heavier than past royal controversies, you are absolutely right. This is not tabloid spectacle anymore. This is not palace gossip wrapped in glamour. This is a family divided across continents, navigating legal structures that may shape generational identity. It feels different because it is different. Now step back and look at the monarchy's position. Approval ratings may be strong right now. William is being praised for decisiveness and institutional clarity. Many see him as representing a new era, firm, disciplined, transparent, unwilling to bend under emotional pressure. Reports of an 84% approval rating as future king are significant. The editorial headline that simply read, "He chose the crown," resonated for a reason. But here is where the deeper questions begin. Constitutional observers, not social media commentators, but serious scholars, are quietly asking whether these structural shifts are unprecedented. The creation of the Royal Family Tribunal, the invocation of the Lineage Safeguard Clause, the classification of Archie and Lilibet as out-of-status descendants, These are not small administrative adjustments. These are architectural shifts inside one of the world's oldest institutions. Lord Pembroke reportedly described the Windsor Domestic Tribunal as the first codified internal royal court in modern British history. Comparable structures trace back centuries to the dissolution of the Plantagenet line. That is medieval governance being echoed in the 21st century. Some call it strength. Others call it institutional overreach. Princess Anne emphasized philosophy. Duchess Sophie framed the ethics. No child should be wielded as a pawn, a product, or a passport. Nobility is not in the title, but in how you protect the name. Those words reportedly drew strong applause. Catherine, identified as Guardian General of Royal Minors, stated publicly, "This is not a palace, but it is peace." These statements align with a public mood that is fatigued by years of tension. But they also signal a monarchy accelerating toward expanded internal authority. That authority could eventually face challenges in international courts or human rights forums. Meghan's legal team is reportedly exploring avenues through The Hague. For now, the US Embassy has indicated no intention to intervene, citing British jurisdictional primacy and mutual child protection agreements. Still, legally, this chapter is far from settled, and looming over all of it is the possibility of memoirs, interviews, or new public statements. If Meghan publishes a book, if custody proceedings shift, if Archie and Lilibet grow old enough to express their own views, the narrative will evolve again, and at that point, no public relations strategy will fully control it. Now back to Montecito. This departure, if it unfolds, will likely not include grand announcements or staged farewell shoots. No glossy photos at the gates, no dramatic streaming finale. Just a quiet sail driven by financial reality and legal gravity. The mansion, once positioned as a forever sanctuary, becomes another listing. The foundation appears dormant. Streaming deals are thinning. The marriage is finalized. The children are under guardianship oversight. And in the background, reports describe Harry as withdrawn, while Meghan's legal team prepares its next move. Meanwhile, William remains at Windsor, projecting steadiness. He reportedly told the nation, "My duty is not to comfort discomfort, but to uphold legacy, not to reconcile the unreconcilable, but to protect those too young to understand what has been done in their name." Whether you agree with that position or question it deeply, one fact stands clear. This is the end of a major chapter in one of the most globally scrutinized families on Earth. It has been turbulent, it has been emotional, it has been polarizing. But here is the part few people are focusing on right now. The next chapter will not ultimately be written by palace press offices, it will not be shaped by streaming platforms, it will not be controlled by memoir contracts. It will eventually be written by two young individuals growing up away from the headlines. And when they are old enough, their voices may reshape everything. That is the quiet detail that could matter most in the long run. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe William made the right call issuing Royal Order Number 17, or did the monarchy push too far? Is Harry a victim of shifting circumstances, or did his own decisions build this outcome step by step? And once the Montecito chapter officially closes, what direction does Meghan's brand take? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video with someone who has followed this story from the beginning. And if you want to stay updated as the next chapter unfolds, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. The Crown has spoken. The boxes are being packed. Montecito's most talked about residents are preparing for the exit. The only question left now is simple but powerful. Where does that door actually lead?